What's up, everyone? Drunken Phoenix here. Welcome back. So, today we're going to go over people talking about mass layoffs that are still continuing here in the summer of 2026. This is a very dicey subject just because it's just very disheartening to know that so many people are getting laid off from their jobs in this economy. And the real catch is that there's more jobs being destroyed than being created, or more people are getting laid off than getting jobs. So, this is madness. So if you have a job right now, don't quit. I know sometimes it can be hard, but don't quit your jobs because this job market is brutal. So let's go ahead and get started.
A round of layoffs at Microsoft, this time mostly in its Xbox division. Around 4,800 roles are being let go,
4,000.
and about 600 of those are based in Washington, according to a Microsoft spokesperson. The company says the layoffs mostly affect Microsoft's commercial business and Xbox organizations. A statement sent to employees cites an expansion of AI as a factor in the restructuring.
But that's very disheartening to hear that even still now in summer of 2026, Microsoft is still laying off thousands of employees. And I just remember a decade ago that anyone that would have gotten a job at Microsoft would have been considered lucky because you were going to get a lot of money. And Microsoft is a big company with a lot of demand. And, engineering was a very prestigious field to be in, still is, and they get paid well. But we are seeing now that they are replaceable just like everybody else. And I guess a lot of these engineers and tech people were working on their replacement, which is AI, which is now replacing them. So it's just very disheartening. Nobody is safe, y'all. Like this sucks.
Microsoft, 9,000 jobs. Cisco, Intel, Sony Interactive Entertainment, Indeed, and Glassdoor. TikTok, Oracle, Advance Health, Optimum Care, Sarepta Therapeutics, manufacturing jobs laying off are Bosch's.
These are a lot of big
Teligent
companies.
Plant,
It's like if the
Whirlpool
big companies are not
Corporation,
safe, who is
General
safe?
Dynamics.
And I say this because some people say things like going to a bigger company, you may have better reliability with the big company just because they get paid more, they have a much more established governance in how their company runs, and we know layoffs happen, but I don't know. I just feel like, well, at least in my circle, people always recommend going to bigger, well-established companies just for stability, because smaller companies may be more at risk of a lot of the adverse effects of a bad recession economy that we're going through. So, but this just shows that no company is safe. And these are really well-known, prestigious company that are having record growth, by the way, making a lot of money. But I guess part of making money is by them cutting people. Maybe that's why. And they're just realizing they don't need as many people anymore. And it's just disheartening.
Dyson, Lucid Motors. If you did not know, we have over 7 million people unemployed and
That's
only
crazy.
like 6.88 million jobs available. In addition, only 57,000 jobs were created in June 2026, and April and May job creation was revised down negative 74,000 for those 2 months. So all of these layoffs and the amount of jobs available and the amount of jobs being created are a direct sign of our economy collapsing. If people don't have jobs, they cannot pay their bills.
It's just, how long is the economy going to collapse? So we've been hearing this for years now. Like, yes, I think the current administration is terrible. I do not like it. But this whole economy collapse, it was going on it seems like ever since 2020, things were just not the same. And like, when is this going to be over? Do you guys let me know in the comment section? Do you think that this whole falling economy, will it ever improve? Because I just don't really remember there ever being any good news since 2020, when things were very dystopian. And it just seems like with the high inflation, it's just going up at record levels, and just a lot of uncertainty, a lot of economic uncertainty. And now we have a lot of political things going on. And it's just, when would this be over? Like, what does the future have? Because so many people are being laid off, and there's no new jobs being created, barely. Or there's new jobs, but not as many new jobs are being created as the demand would call for. So this is like, when is it going to be over?
That's why you're seeing home foreclosures, credit card delinquency, student loan delinquency, auto loan delinquency, and it's going to get much worse, ladies and gentlemen. We are on day 126 of the Iran war. We're spending like there's no end in sight, and these are going to be very bad times. Buckle up, do the best that you can to, number one, do a budget and plan out your spending ahead of time. Monitor your spending as you go, adjust your spending as you go. Try to have a 6-month emergency fund. If you are currently working and you already have those, please pay off your debt or move it to a 0% interest card. Interest rates are going to be going up because of inflation.
So I randomly just got laid off, like out of nowhere. I was killing it and they told me that. I just signed a lease to move closer to work the day before. This company made you care so much. I was so emotionally invested that like it feels like a heartbreak. The most similar feeling I felt like this before is like getting cheated on, because it's so out of nowhere and it's so abrupt. It just fucking hurts. My whole life was that job, my entire life, and it was just taken from.
So let this be a cautionary tale that, and it's unfortunate that I have to say this, but do not make your job your life. Like, you are at your job to make money. That is pretty much your bottom line, making money. And people at your coworkers are not your friends. And I'm saying this because it's brutal out there, and there's a lot of competition, and you are to a lot of these big companies, big corporations, you really are just a number. Like, you're not, they don't care about you personally. They don't care that you can't afford your rent. They don't care that, that you just moved closer to the office with a new apartment lease. Like, that would save yourself so much of the emotional damage of feeling betrayed. Like, these companies are not loyal to us, and we should not be loyal to them. We are here for our bottom line to make our money, and your coworkers are not your friends. And some people may be nice and really cool. And that doesn't mean that the people that work with you are bad people. It's just you just can't trust anybody. Like, that's just it. Because else you might end up like this girl and just not only lose your job, but just have to deal with the emotional baggage of it. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. And if you are at a company where your work-life culture is really like family, as they say, consider yourself lucky. But again, I just would not make it your life. Don't put all your hope in those people at your job. I'm telling you.
I know that your job shouldn't be your life, and that's a big lesson I'm learning, but like, fuck, how do I like get over this feeling of like betrayal and heartbreak?
Genuinely think that the job market in 2026 is worse than it was in 2008. And here's a few reasons why. Not only are we seeing tons of layoffs, but we're seeing a lot more companies do a lot less hiring. And unlike 2008, where we knew it was a recession and we knew things were going to bounce back at some point, I don't think things are going to bounce back. I genuinely think that this is the new normal. The new normal is companies hiring less people to get work done, which means there's going to be less job opportunities.
But what about all the unemployed?
You can ask anybody that's looking for a job that's a white collar worker, and they will tell you the same thing. It's brutal. You have to apply to hundreds and thousands of jobs, which you couldn't do in 2008 because the job application process wasn't the same. At least then you could just go down to a company.
That's a good point. Nowadays, if you try to apply for a job, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants for just one role. So that probably does contribute a lot to why people are having a hard time finding jobs, along with, not as many jobs are being available. And a lot of companies post jobs that do not have the intention of hiring anybody, or they might just plan to hire someone that's internal. So it is brutal.
Turn in your application and probably get an interview. Nowadays, everything is electronic. Everyone's using AI. Candidates are using AI to mass apply to companies. Companies are using AI to help sort their resumes. It's absolutely insane. So we're kind of seeing what we saw in 2008 without it being labeled a recession. We're also seeing prices go up, and there's really no bright future ahead because AI looks like it's going to swallow up a ton of these jobs in the future. So yeah, I definitely think the 2026 job market is way worse than the '08
So basically,
recession?
we're
Let me know
cooked,
what you
y'all,
think in the comments.
forever.
My department was restructured and my job no longer exists. And unfortunately, I had been impacted by a layoff before this job and was out of work for 6 months, and that depleted my entire savings. Everything was gone. And so I've been working over the last year to repay debts, build my savings back up, but I'm not quite there yet. And the job is gone.
And I think what sucks about this is it doesn't even matter how good you are at your job or how long you've been at the company. They, if they need to cut costs, they're going to cut a department, and it might affect you. It might not. You might have been there for 1 year. You might have been there for 5 years. You might have been there for 10 years. But if they have to cut costs, they have to cut costs, and it just sucks when it's not really your fault or not anything that you did.
But the painful part is that because of the AI increased improvements and because of the freelancers that we have, we currently don't see enough work to be done. And I also think that in the future, because more and more is being done with AI, we also don't really see how we can progress from this further, to continue from this further. So I'm sorry to say, but I'm afraid we don't see the role anymore the way we saw it. So I'm very sorry for this. Please don't take it on a personal level. It's
All right, so there you have it. AI is still taking people's jobs, and it looked like that's going to continue to be the trend for the foreseeable future. It's very unfortunate. It's just, honestly, I don't even know what to say. It just feels really hopeless. Just don't quit your job. Try to do everything you can do to keep your job and to be the best at your job, and just, save, put money in your retirement. Just be smart, and just, try to not do a lot of overspending, just because there's so much uncertainty in this economy, and just with everything with this country. Like, no one knows what is the future holds. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know how you feel in the comment section, and make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.